Live from the broadcast center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL9 News at 8.
Now at 8, developing news. A tense takedown in Long Beach when a man threatens to blow up a federal building.
And breaking news tonight at Pierce College in Woodland Hills. The classes there canceled after a credible threat. We are live.
Plus, a young diabetic patient is dead and a Southland herbalist has been charged. Tonight, the warning the LA City attorney wants everyone to be aware of. Hello, everybody. I'm Elsa Ramon.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jeff Vaughn. We begin tonight with developing news, a bomb threat in Long Beach.
KCAL9 Orange County reporter Stacy Butler is live near the scene where a man was threatening to blow up a federal building. Stacy.
Yeah, and we're standing right in front of the federal building. You guys take a look behind me. You can see a white van there parked in front of City Hall. That's where this whole thing ended. This bizarre standoff, we have some ground video, ended with a series of gunshots, first flashbangs, and our camera was rolling when the suspect, the gunman, was taken away, shot, injured, and taken away by ambulance. He's now at a local hospital. It's unclear what his condition is. I want to take you to some aerials from Sky 9. Also, you can see this bizarre takedown in front of City Hall here in Long Beach. This guy had been waving his gun, say police, for about 2 hours. This all started at 4 o'clock today. Apparently, it was either his wife or ex-wife called 911. She was hysterical. She said, my husband has a gun and he's threatening to blow up the federal building. Well, this man was waving his gun. He was parked out in front of the Long Beach City Hall, and he was indeed waving his gun. Sky 9 was overhead for those full 2 hours. This did eventually end. Nobody was injured. A number of people that were inside City Hall, the local library, also in the area, they were all either told to shelter in place or they were escorted out. Some really tense moments here for a number of people that were inside the federal building. They were the first ones to receive this threat.
It's just like, wow. I mean, it's just because it's so close to home, you know, I work here, so. Yeah, and then, you know, that's like, it could have been here. We could have just been barricaded and stuck in the federal building if he been here.
Now, we are learning more about the possible gunman. We ran the license plate here. According to DMV records, the man who owns that van, his name is Donald McFarland. Now, we have not confirmed that yet, but Donald McFarland does have an extensive criminal history in Washington and Oregon State, and the license plate on that van is from Oregon. We will have a lot more details coming up on KCAL9 News at 10. That's the very latest from Long Beach. Back to you guys in the studio.
And breaking news in Woodland Hills, where Pierce College has been evacuated and classes have been canceled. This as the school investigates a credible threat. The campus is on Winnetka Avenue and Victory Boulevard.
KCAL9's Crystal Cruz joins us now live near the campus with more on this story tonight. Crystal?
Hi, you guys. We just learned deputies are investigating a school shooting threat. There they are right behind me talking with school officials about this possible threat. Now, a deputy just told us an anonymous tip came in. A man called to report another man at a bus stop talking about heading over to Pierce College to shoot it up. Now, one man, possibly the suspect, was taken into custody for warrants. And according to a deputy we just spoke to, no weapons were actually found, but they're still investigating if this man was joking or did he actually have plans to really pull off a school shooting. Out of precaution, the school was closed, campus was evacuated. Thousands of students were told to go home. We did have some video of an officer turning students away at the college entrance because the campus was closed a little after 4:30, around 5-ish. So a lot of students, they were told to pack their things up. They were in class and just basically get out of precaution. Again, deputies investigating to see if this was an actual if this man really did have a plan to shoot up the school, or if he was joking. So that's what investigators are working on right at this moment. The school will reopen tomorrow morning. I'm Crystal Cruz, live from Pierce College tonight. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Of course, we'll continue to follow this story here on KCAL9. Crystal Cruz reporting live tonight. Also tonight, an herbalist is facing criminal charges after a child with diabetes died when his parents gave him herbs instead of his medication.
The herbalist was allegedly practicing medicine without a license. KCAL9's Lisa Siegel has the case that prosecutors say should be a warning to everyone.
And that is the warning the LA City Attorney wants everyone to heed after hearing this young man's tragic story.
Your healing comes from within.
He calls his business Common Sense Herbs, has his own YouTube channel, and holds seminars about the power of healing, not to mention what he says are the problems with medicine.
I had 5 years of drugs and doctors and treatments with my prostate cancer, and I got progressively worse. And when I took the herbs, it got rid of it.
Now, 83-year-old herbalist Timothy Morrow faces 1 count of practicing medicine without a license and 1 count of child abuse causing death. The LA City Attorney's Office alleges Morrow's treatment of a 13-year-old boy with diabetes contributed to the teen's death. We're told the teen's mom met Morrow at a seminar about herbs and healing ailments. That was in 2014.
Once treatment began and herbs were being prescribed, there came a moment when this young boy was in a very serious condition, and the herbalist prescribed, again, herbs instead of the insulin that the boy's treating physician directed.
We're told just days after the 13-year-old Harbor Gateway teen died of cardiac arrest and complications from diabetes. The medical examiner on the case alleges he most likely would have lived with proper treatment, not herbs over insulin. We went to Morrow's office. It's open for business, but no comment there. His attorney told me by phone Mr. Morrow is not guilty. He spent his lifetime helping people. Now, as for the parents, I am told there was insufficient evidence to bring charges or prosecute. A very sad situation all the way around. Now, if you have any information about this case or concerns about a doctor or even a dentist, just go to our website, KCAL9.com, and click on Seen on TV. There is help there. Back to you.
California's status as a sanctuary state has prompted U.S. Attorney Jeff Sessions to sue.
AG claims that new California laws protecting undocumented immigrants from federal agents are unconstitutional. Sessions says his officers should be able to do their jobs unimpeded.
California, we have a problem. A series of actions and events has occurred here that directly and adversely impact the work of our federal officers.
This Attorney General is maybe he's trying to keep his job because the President is not too happy with him. But we here are going to stick to the facts. We're going to stick to the law.
Governor Brown, along with California Attorney General Javier Becerra, vowed to fight this all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary.
L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti calls the lawsuit a waste of time and resources.
City Council members tonight vowing to fight the Justice Department. KCAL9's Dave Lopez has more.
The showdown is now on. The case is going to federal court, and people here at City Hall say, bring it on.
It's hugely Latino, it's hugely Spanish-speaking.
Not to mention the largest Mexican population outside of Mexico City. And City Council member Gil Cedillo says this city has done everything to protect that immigrant population. And about the lawsuit today, filed by Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Well, good luck. They failed miserably. Thank God that we have a U.S. Constitution.
All around City Hall, reaction was swift.
What Attorney General Sessions indicated this morning in his speech was appalling and outright full of lies.
We're going to do all we can, whether it's in the state legislature or in Los Angeles, to defend our immigrant population.
And that is why, months ago, the city of Los Angeles declared itself a city of sanctuary. That's why Sacramento declared the state a sanctuary state. And that is at the heart of the Sessions lawsuit.
California has to blink or they're going to lose money. Keep in mind, the federal government, they have the National Guard, and they have every right to come in here and start arresting elected officials if necessary.
Arthur Schopper is a member of the LA County for Trump.
We have the law on our side. We have the facts on our side.
I think California is on solid legal footing.
Mike Fuhr City Attorney for Los Angeles.
This lawsuit is just another effort by the Attorney General to express his disdain for immigrants.
Off camera, LA Police Chief Charlie Beck issued this statement, quote, "We are in compliance with all laws. We do not believe that this lawsuit will affect the LAPD in any of its operations."
Law enforcement agencies, municipalities up and down the state of California continue to work with federal agents on those specific cases.
And from the LA County Sheriff's Department, quote, "This does not change our policies or practices. This department does not ask about immigration status of anyone." And critics of this lawsuit point out to the Trump record in lawsuits.
Every step they have taken has been undermined by one court after another across the United States.
I asked a number of city officials and lawyers what happens if the Sessions lawsuit wins and California loses on this. The response from everyone, not going to happen. From downtown Los Angeles, Dave Lopez, KCAL9 News.
Of course, this is a very big topic, so stay with KCAL9 for continuing coverage of the sanctuary showdown. Still ahead, Jeff Sessions mentioned a Ventura County sex abuse case. That suspect, an undocumented immigrant, was released back into the community instead of being deported. We'll have that story coming up at 8:30.
An Orange County mother left to die on the road, and now police are trying to find one of the drivers who hit her and just took off. Renee Fogg was killed last month along PCH near Magnolia in Huntington Beach. KCAL9 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili talked to Fogg's friends who are still in shock over her death.
I don't know how they can live with themselves. I mean, this is a guilt-ridden thing.
There is someone very special missing from this Huntington Beach salon. Longtime assistant Renee Fogg was hit by 2 cars on PCH, according to police, 2.5 weeks ago. One driver stopped, the other didn't. Renee Fogg died of her injuries.
It's so heavy on all of our hearts because she's been such a big part of our life for so long, and a client would walk in and say, "Where's Renee? You know, is Renee shampooing my hair? Where's Renee?"
This kind wife and mother who grew up in Huntington Beach worked alongside Sue Reese and Patty Giebel as their assistant for more than 30 years. They all recently moved together to Salon Taj. Aaron is a co-owner.
It was very sad to see that would happen, and shocked. No one was expecting that kind of thing to happen, and just the way that she died is very sad. And
detectives say Fogg was hit in the northbound lanes of PCH near Magnolia as she crossed toward the beach early around 2 a.m. the morning of February 18th. A white SUV that looks like this, either a Chevy Suburban or a GMC Yukon, was the second car to run her over. The first driver stopped, the second briefly, and then kept going.
I hope this other driver that took off would come forward and know that this happened, and it's just hard to talk about it. I'm still processing that she's gone and that she died in this way.
Renee's former colleagues and family are having a memorial for her on Monday. In the meantime, they're hoping that someone will come forward with information about the driver of that car. Detectives say it should have damage to the right front end. In Huntington Beach, Michelle Gili, KCAL9 News.
And happening right now, police are concerned that there might be more victims of a local anthropology professor accused of indecent exposure. Deputies arrested Dong Young Ha yesterday at his Norwalk home. Detectives say back in September he exposed himself to a jogger that he lured to his car in Cerritos and then did it again less than an hour later in Artesia. A spokesman says Ha quit his job today at Grace Mission University. He's now out on $30,000 bail.
M&M is adding a little bit more flavor. They've narrowed it down to 3, but they want you to help them choose just one. That's coming up next. Evelyn.
Crunchy espresso. Not sure how I feel about that. All right, we're getting a look from Sky 9 this evening, flying over downtown. Beautiful out there tonight. We are expecting some changes on the way, along with a very substantial chance of rain. We'll have the details ahead.
Also at 8, a nor'easter is pummeling the northeast with rain, wind, and snow. I'm Nikki Batiste in Times Square with the latest.
From the governor's ball to behind bars, the man accused of stealing Frances McDormand's Oscar facing a judge today.
But first, here's a look at the best of LA and Orange County tonight on KCAL9.com, where we are always on. KCAL9 News at 8. We'll be right back.